I perfected 4 games in 6.5 hours. Well, technically speaking. This is Silent Paradise Anthology. What's an anthology, you ask? Well, it's a series of 4 different games that are all compiled into one game that you can get on Steam. These games were developed by Dreamnoid, who I believe is a solo dev, so props to them. The 4 games that you get in this bundle are Silent Paradise, Lost Paradise, Distant Paradise, and Secret Paradise. Secret Paradise is the 4th, almost hidden game that you can get by finding a specific item in each of the other 3 games. In the first 3 games, you play as a different character in each one. In Silent Paradise, it's more of a Metroid type game where you have a blaster to use against enemies and bosses. In Lost Paradise, you play as a woman with a sword. My kind of game. And in Distant Paradise, you play as a little dude who fights by, throwing his body into the enemies. In Secret Paradise, you play as all 3 of them. Neat! In typical metroidvania style, each game has its own specific puzzles that you can only accomplish by utilizing certain movements and upgrades that you get throughout the game. You obviously find these upgrades and abilities by exploring the maps. Speaking of maps, let's talk about the level design. The level designs in these games are actually pretty good. There's a lot of backtracking required, obviously, as you're inevitably going to run into things that you can't accomplish yet because you don't have that movement or that ability yet. As with all metroidvania games, I get lost quite often, and in these games, it usually paid off with some sort of reward, making the exploration worth it. And I'm sure that you've noticed by now that this is a pixel art 2D Metroidvania. Yes, I know I've promised that we are going to get away from these. I know this is the 3rd video in a row that we're doing a pixel art Metroidvania, and unfortunately this is not going to be the last one, but I promise soon we will get to a game that's not a pixel art 2D Metroidvania. But in the meantime, you should check out my last video where I did a review on Momodora Reverie Under the Moonlight. I will link that video right up here. Anyway, back to the review. Let's talk about the combat in these games. As I explained earlier, you use a different weapon in every game. Whether it's a blaster, a sword, or your shoulder, you have different means of combat in each of the games. The controls feel very good and really responsive in these games, which make the combat feel good as well, although the combat is clearly not the main focus of these games. While obviously not the priority in these games, it doesn't detract from the game at all. It's just good enough. In 3 of the 4 games, you do have boss fights as well. Silent Paradise, Lost Paradise, and Secret Paradise all have boss fights in the game. The 3rd one, Distant Paradise, does not for some reason. It doesn't diminish the quality of the game for me, however, I am a big boss fight fan, so it was kind of unfortunate to not have any boss fights in that game. I would definitely say that these games are more exploration focused. I know that there are certain Metroidvania games that are geared towards different aspects of the genre. So if you're looking for Metroidvania games where the exploration is worth it and seemingly the focus of the game, these are definitely your games. The soundtracks in these games are fine. Nothing super memorable, but also nothing that told me I really needed to mute the game after a while. Now, as far as story, you should know by now by watching my other videos that I am not the best at keeping up with stories in these games. And if I have a hard enough time keeping up with one story, what makes you think I'm going to be able to keep up with 4? There was no shot I was going to be able to learn how all 4 of these games relate to one another. Overall, I did really have a great time playing these games. As someone who usually finishes a game and then has to stare at my Steam library for the next 6 hours to figure out what I'm going to play next, it was really nice being able to finish Silent Paradise and know that I'm immediately going to run into Lost Paradise. I also really liked how each of these games function fundamentally different between a blaster, a sword, just dashing into enemies to do damage, and then kind of combining them all in the end. Having all 3 characters plus a secret 4th character that was put in the last game really kind of tied it all together and made it a good payoff for the 3 games that you've played up to that point. I'm going to score all 4 of these games as one game since I bought it as one package deal on Steam, and I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. If you like what I do, please consider liking and subscribing, and also leave a comment down below. I make these videos genuinely because I want to give my review on them, but also because I want to have conversations with people about these games. So if you played these games, what do you think about them? If you haven't, do you plan on picking it up? Does this review help you make a decision at all? Let me know. Let's talk about it. Also, be sure to check me out on Twitch and TikTok. We're going to be streaming these games as we go through them for these reviews. We just finished up Blasphemous 2. We finally got the 100%, even though part of it was bugged, which was interesting. I'll go into that in the video. But we got a few videos in between now and then, so stay tuned for that. I'll link my Twitch and TikTok down in the description below. But as always, if you've made it this far in the video, thank you for your time. Thanks for being here. That's all for me. Stay safe out there. Peace.